Back to the highlights and match reaction show here live on the Football Terrace. We are, of course, sponsored by Topps Kick 23, the official digital collectible app for the UEFA Champions League. Firstly, scan the QR code on the screen or click in the link in the description below to get the app downloaded. And I have to say, it is the best fantasy football game I've ever played. Not only can users trade their cards with others, you can also craft, create, and upgrade the existing cards you already own. The rarer the cards, the more points you win during Champions League games. Now, I want to see if I can set you all a challenge. I smash KJ on this every single week. The question is, are you up to the challenge and can you beat me? If you think you can, get the app downloaded right now by scanning on that QR code or clicking on the link in the description. As I say, best fantasy football game on the planet. And we're live with Topps Kick 23 between now and the Champions League final. Enjoy the rest of the video and we'll speak to you soon. Chelsea through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Their best performance of this season, their best display under Graham Potter. It was a stellar performance from the Stamford Bridge faithful. It truly was. Defensively resolute, allowing Dortmund no real opportunities at all in this game. Clinical when they needed to be. And in fairness, it could have been 4, it could have been 5. The luck was against them. The luck was against them a little bit tonight. Kai Havertz in the inside of the post as an example. A number of good saves, some good blocks. But Chelsea deserved this win. 2-0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate. And even in the last 20, 25 minutes, when Borussia Dortmund were really pushing on strong, Dortmund were really trying their best to, really trying their best to break down Chelsea, put the pressure on them. It's the first time, legitimately, all season that I remember Chelsea being this strong defensively, this resolute. I didn't believe that Dortmund were going to score tonight, and that is testament to the top-class performance from Chelsea. Graham Potter got his setup right, he got his team correct, and they really fought hard for that badge tonight. We haven't seen as football fans, and Chelsea fans, haven't felt this, but we haven't seen as football fans fight. We haven't seen as football fans a tenacity, an identity, a feeling that there was any progression at all under Graham Potter, why many Chelsea supporters have said he has got to go. He's got to be moved on. This isn't working. The win of the weekend, Wesley Fofana's goal, it was an okay performance, but the win was needed. Today was exactly what Chelsea fans needed to see. It wasn't just about the win and staying in the Champions League to keep Chelsea's season alive. You've got to look at things really. Liverpool have got themselves back in the hunt for a top 4 position. Their season's alive. You look at Chelsea, they go out tonight. That's it now. Every game for the remainder of the season is essentially a dead rubber. So their fans have got at least 2 more games to look forward to. And the Premier League games in and around that will be served as a, come on, let's get some momentum, let's get some confidence, and let's put ourselves in a position where we can progress from this point. As I've said, big credit to Graham Potter tonight. I've been heavily critical of him in recent weeks, but you've got to give credit where credit is due. He was brilliant. There's no doubt about it. He was brilliant. He got the setup right, as I've already mentioned, amongst a few other things. In terms of individual performances tonight, it's hard to know where to start, but I want to start with Kai Havertz. Yes, he missed the penalty, and I tweeted he bottled it. I thought he did, but he steps up and scores. And it would have been disappointing for him to have missed that penalty because I thought he had a very good overall performance tonight in a Chelsea shirt. And you haven't really been able to say that too often when it comes to Chelsea and Kai Havertz in recent times. Raheem Sterling, in my view, very close, on that offside trap tonight. But that's where you want Sterling, off the shoulder. Exploit some more high lines. And they did that tonight. Sterling was great, I thought. João Felix, very tricky, very difficult. But I thought what really stood out to me was 3 players this evening. And listen, I thought Koulibaly had his best performance in a Chelsea shirt as an example. I thought Fofana was very good. We're seeing why Chelsea wanted so much money for him. I thought Enzo in the middle and Kovacic were good. But the 3 players that stood out for me Your fullbacks were back. Ben Chilwell, Reece James finding their feet again. They looked a bit sluggish of late for me, but you saw a bit of swagger, a bit of zip, get back into their games. But I want to really shout out Kepa tonight because he did pull off a couple of very important saves. One from the free kick early on from Marco Reus, and there was a save. I want to say it was from Wolf. It could have been from somebody else. I may have forgot the individual's name. It might have been. I'm just looking at the names of their players now. Yeah, could have been Wolf. Could have been Reina. But someone made a great shot late on in the game. I forget who it was, so I apologize. And he pulled off two very important saves. And when a goalkeeper isn't excessively busy, maintaining concentration and being ready for that moment when you're needed is absolutely imperative. So a very good performance from him tonight indeed. But overall, this was the best I've seen Chelsea all year. I think you maybe played better football against Tottenham right at the start of the season, but you did concede 2 goals. Yes, Spurs should have had players sent off, but you still conceded them. Tonight, solid. Scored goals, could have got more, didn't concede a goal. Individually, to a man, excellent performances tonight. Now, this is something that Chelsea fans have got to demand is built upon, that the standards don't drop for the next game. And I think even more importantly, I could see patterns tonight. I could see repetition of moves. Maybe this is something to work on. You can argue you're playing against Dortmund. They had a lot of the ball. They have a relatively high line. So it was easier to kind of get the likes of Raheem Sterling and so on and so forth into. Low blocks are, of course, a very, very different kettle of fish. But I think that's something that Chelsea fans can think about on another day. Tonight's about celebrating going through to the quarterfinals, which in itself, if you'd have said to like the world of football a month ago, Chelsea will make the quarterfinals, you may have got laughed at. But they did very, very well tonight indeed. I don't think that can be taken away from them at all. Of course, I want your views. I want your opinions. But make sure you're smashing that like button, by the way, subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. Very, very important to us that you do that. And I'm hoping you're liking the new studio surroundings. I'll probably easier to go this way. There's that little logo up on the wall there. I don't quite know why I set it up behind my head, but you kind of know what it is. You can see the 6 stars that represent the top 6 and everything else. I hope you're liking the new studio settings. I want to go to some of your comments here, though, that have come through. But remember, we are sponsored by Topskick. Sorry, Topskick 23. Get that app downloaded now. The best fantasy football game out there. But aside from that, amazing digital collectibles. If you're someone that enjoys sort of playing cards back in the past, collecting football cards, this is the app for you. It's free to download. There's lots to do inside, from crafting cards, unpacking as normal, and then their contests. Their contests are absolutely sensational. That's their fantasy football game. So go and get that downloaded right about now, my people. You can scan that QR code on my screen or click on the link in the live comments section or in our description below. Now, first super chat here says, come on, you Blues. Big game, cow, a Kepa clutch. Bellingham, 150 million, they said. More like 10 mil. KK and Fofana class. Brighton Cucurella is back. Raheem, the dream. And listen, Dyke, you're well entitled to say all those things. I think all those things you've said tonight about Chelsea's performance are definitely true. And yeah, Jude Bellingham had an absolute stinker. He had a stinker of a performance tonight. And also, listen, they did have one chance, a real big chance, just after the second goal. And Jude Bellingham put that wide, and it was terrible. It was genuinely a terrible attempt. I see a few people online defending him, but you can't defend that. You know, you should be getting that on target, 150 million pound player and all that jazz. You've got to be getting that done. We'll share the link in the comment sections for you all now, as per this request. So that's out. You guys can see that now. Potter haters rest. Kai man of the match, and Kuka was solid. Look, I think people that have criticized Graham Potter have a right to. I'm sure they'll praise the performance tonight, but one swift does not a summer make. More of this is needed, I think, for Graham Potter to feel safe in his job at Chelsea. Our Champions League defense showed up finally. Have to say, it's been a long time since I enjoyed watching Chelsea football. We got at least 2 more Champions League games rivals, is what C says here. And that's it. That's it. Like, you can't take that away from Chelsea. They've got all those games to come, and I'm sure fans are gonna love it. The back 5 were good. Cucurella turned up. They did. They all turned up tonight. You're absolutely right. What a win. Now we need to build on this, is what Emmanuel says. Come on, he's obviously buzzing there wherever he's watching. Juan CFC says Champions League Kai is back. Come on, you Blues. Number 3 is incoming. Loving the confidence there. And you know what? Listen, when you're in it, you've got a chance to win it. Bayern Munich, obviously very, very dangerous in this tournament. City are in it. Liverpool are there. Dortmund. Sorry, not Dortmund. Real Madrid. But listen, who knows who you're going to get in the next round? Benfica look dangerous. Napoli. There's a lot of difficult teams. But as we know with cup football, let's see what happens with the draw. Enjoy it. Thank you, Kieran, for rejoining as a member of the Football Terrace. That means a great deal to us. Tonight is a loss for progress, Terry. Potter out is what Matty says. Matty is not happy as a Chelsea fan that they won tonight. Viewers, what do you make of that? Should you just celebrate the night, or is this detrimental for the future of Chelsea because it means Potter stays longer? Blaze says, has Fofana ever had a bad game for Chelsea? Massive W. I don't think Fofana's had many games for Chelsea, if we're being honest, yet with the injuries that he's faced. But he looks quality. He looks so assured tonight, so good on the ball. And he's improved your team since his return, there's no doubt. Enzo owned Bellingham. 150 million they want for him is what Dyke says. It's true. It is true. I mean, Enzo, for me, again, I thought Enzo was great tonight. I thought Enzo was absolutely great. I wouldn't say world-class performance, but a top performance from him, no doubt about it. And maybe his performance has kind of been shadowed by others standing out. But I don't really think Enzo's been poor since he's joined Chelsea. He's just getting stick because he costs so much money. And you won't see me do what the other YouTubers do, where it's, well, I'm going to find someone who costs a lot of money and then needlessly slander them just to make me feel better about a player at my club that didn't deliver. I've just got a lot more strength than that. I'm basically not a That's all it is. It's basic moves. That's it. Every time. That's TikTokers for you. XG Kings is what C says. I expect us to beat Bayern Munich. Not Bayern Munich. Borussia Dortmund. I'm still Potter out. And look, I think that's acceptable to still be Potter out after this. But credit where credit is due is what I would personally say. Potter just bought himself till the end of the season. Could have done. That's Sterling. That Sterling fake shot. Felix is my god. Havertz 10 out of 10 performance. Potter actually coaching on the sidelines. This was the most Chelsea I have seen, is what Diaz got to say. Waiting for Terry's I Fear Chelsea video. Listen, I did one of them in the summer, and I still stand by. I think Chelsea will get this right in the medium to long term. That's what I said. Stand by it, not change my mind at all. Still Potter out, but tonight the boys showed they are fighting for the manager. And I think that's what's going to be key. My personal feeling is, and the Chelsea fans coming on the panel soon can tell us different, but I always sort of felt that it wasn't just the losses and the lack of goals. It was the lack of fight. And if they're not fighting for the manager and working hard, is he ever going to turn it round? I always felt like that was a real problem for a lot of Chelsea fans that I spoke to. So I hear you on that, Nev. The team is still playing for Potter, is what Juan just says. Ironically, is what we were just talking about. Angelos here says, great result. We needed that. I wasn't convinced by Potter. I'm still on the fence, but this is a good step forward in the right direction. As long as the team performs, I will back the manager. Fair play to you, my friend. Ober here. Ober one says, Graham Potter, the manager who lived. That's very good. That's a very good super chat. What do you know about Man United HQ change? I mean, they've moved from very quickly. They've moved from Mayfair to Kensington, which is not a million miles away. It's all in the rich part of London. And I believe it's moved into the same building that Harrods is in. And Harrods is, of course, owned by the Qataris. It could mean everything. It could mean nothing. Why are we judging Jude after one bad game? Personally, I'm not. I know the comments might be, he had a bad game tonight. I think there's a supreme talent in there. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it with chest. He came up against a Premier League team tonight who played at Premier League pace, with Premier League power, with Premier League prowess. And we're too much. We should be too much for the vast majority of Europe. The first leg games for the English teams were really poor. Liverpool won't turn it round at the Bernabeu, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Tottenham, and City definitely, but Tottenham go through as well, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. It was just poor in the first legs. Some more super chats. Panel coming soon. We've got Winter Surfer. We've got Ches. We've got man like Matt coming on. We've got man like Kasim. We've got Abs. We're going to have Stephen, Oba, all coming on the show very, very soon. So stay with the Terrace. Of course, tonight sponsored by the brilliant people at Tops Kick 23. Come on, let's go. I was so anxious. I'm relieved. We needed to win. We had to. Well done, Potter, is what Naval Nation 2 has got to say here. Terry, thoughts on us, Chelsea, today? I don't mean this rudely, Dyke. I've been talking about it for 15 minutes. Very, very good tonight. All know me. Whether I think a manager's right for a job or a team's good, bad, indifferent, when you play well, I'll always call it out. Tonight was the best Chelsea I've seen all season. Grow from this and improve from this point. Potter might just keep his job. So many of the boys had their best games in forever. I mean, look at Kukurea, Koulibaly, even Potter talking to his players on the touchline. Could not agree with you more. I think it's a phenomenal super chat. I think you've got it spot on. And by the way, like, you'll get some tacticos that will try and break this down and make it sound like, oh my God, there was this change and the shape was different. And I saw hexagons here and I saw counter pressing there. And I saw, we were creating, we were setting traps and creating numerical advantages on the left. And then we'd switch the play to the right-hand side to confuse them. You hear a lot of tacticos talk. No, you kept it simple. You worked hard, you run hard, you pressed, and you kept in shape. Basic football is what gets you through. Football is a basic sport. Only idiots confuse it. And they use big words and say things that don't really exist in football to make it sound like they know more than you. And that's why the football terrace community is great, because we don't really have tacticos here. Because it ain't about that. It's all just nonsense. It's just words. It's just words. It's like when someone's a bartender, that they get like a job title like hospitality supervisor, or they sweep the roads and they're called an environmental hygienist. It's just weird. If that handball was in the Premier League, it wouldn't have been given. Potter team fighting for him to save his job. Oh, they definitely fought for him tonight, and you are right. That penalty would not have been given in the Premier League, but it was a stonewall penalty. I weren't even going to bring it up tonight because it was so obvious. His arm comes up, he kind of basically saves the ball. 100% a penalty every day of the week. No qualms about that at all. Personally, from me as a neutral or rival looking in. Kante is coming back soon too, Terry. Oh, that's going to be interesting to see how he plays under Potter. I think we will stick with 3-4-3. We are better with 3-4-3 than 4 at the back. That's a good point. That Dortmund's first loss this year. Exactly. These are no cream puffs. These are no cream puffs, no pushovers that Chelsea just beat as well. This is a significant result. You'll get salt from rivals, or they'll go, "War a trophy." Some amoeba will say, "Oh, war a trophy." Do you know what I mean? That's how it stands in my head. It's like,
"War trophy. Well done, Chelsea."
That's all it sounds like to me. It's nonsense. Ignore them. They're just bitter. This is the problem. They're bitter, and they have such small brain capacity that they cannot think of original banter. The same as when people call you boys. It's like, are you still using that in 2023? Can you think of something a bit more original? It's boring. You're boring. Hope Kante is back for the quarterfinals, is what Reeve Kumar says. And Wesley Fofana blocking the dying minutes was crucial. Yeah, it was sensational. That block was out of this world. I actually forgot about it. I don't know why, because it was one of the last things we saw, but it was great. We won. Let's go, is what Stephen here says. I'm looking at your kit. That's a West Ham kit. You didn't play tonight, did you? Or is that a Burnley kit? I don't know, bruv. It's claret and blue. There's no claret and blue teams in the top 6, so we don't obviously feature you that much. But yeah, let me know you support Stephanie. Sorry, I think I called you Stefan. I meant Stephanie. There's a super chat I must have missed here. Where's it gone? Was it a yellow one? Is that it there? I did miss this. Yes. He says, I refuse to believe a Chelsea fan just said that about Potter out progress. I don't want him here, but celebrate this, you clown. What is wrong with you? Swallow it and be happy for us, you mug. Matty, he's calling you a mug, mate. He's calling you a mug. Time to bring some of the panel out. We'll rotate it as we go through. I need them likes up, though, people. You got to smash them likes. Give us a like for the new look studio. Well, let me know what you think about it. And by the way, this is a proper logo as well. I'm not going to pull it off the wall, but it's like proper attached. I can put my hands behind the back of it. It's like proper serious bit of plastic. That I'm very proud. I'm very proud. And we're not going to be keeping these kits. I ordered 2 custom kits from Kit Locker, and they were meant to have certain names on the back with numbers. I was going to put them in, but they sent them without numbers. So I just had to grab an old Man United kit that I've got because I ain't putting nothing new up. And a vintage England shirt, and I stuck them in there. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen soon. Don't you worry about that. That was a West Ham kit, by the way. I thought it was West Ham. It looked like West Ham. It looked like Paqueta. But I was then thinking, I know Championship teams can play on Tuesday, so I thought maybe it was Burnley, and it's very small on my screen. So there we go. Right, panel time, people. Let's do this. Welcome back to the show, one and all. Stephen and Oba and Dom will be getting you guys out soon. Don't worry, we're rotating it through because I know Steve wants to speak about Benfica, who smashed Club Brugge 5-1 tonight. But Chelsea boys, talk to me. Big win through to the quarterfinals. What you saying, matey?
Man, Terry, I'm through the moon. Great win, great result. I've been very, very harsh on Potter. As everyone knows, I don't want Potter at this club, but he today has proved me, hey, I want to stay here. I want to fight for my chance. I said, go for it. Fight as much as you can. Today, I think, someone like me, Potter out, shouldn't be thinking about Potter. Should be thinking about how Potter won today. He did well. He proved to me, hey, I have a chance in the Champions League, and we finally got through to another final. We can possibly win another trophy. But good to celebrate today. The boys today, fantastic. Fantastic. I think everyone had a great game. You see, as I said, myself, not a big fan of Kai Havertz. Unbelievable performance. Great game for me. He scored, had second chance of a penalty, which I know, wasn't the best, but I think other than that, he was decent. And I want to keep this up from players. We see this. We've seen this for the last 5-6 years. I've seen players, they come out, they have one great game out of 9, 10, 11 games. But I want to see it as a consistent value. I want to see these players playing consistently. But the main man, today, Cucurella just got man of the match, as I just saw now, which is very well deserved. Another player who's been criticised highly, but I've highly rated this player. Cucurella, absolute class player today. The whole back line was just great. But the main one at the back, Kepa, mi amor, Arrizabalaga, the capitano. I have his shirt right here. Kepa's Arrizabalaga, the captain, saved us once again. That free kick he saved was unbelievable. The first 10, 20 minutes by, I think it was Marco Reus. Again, unbelievable player. The guys came back from nothing. Fans on this guy still want him out. Where is he? There he is. Kasim still wants him out. But again, he comes in and saves us once again. What a player. I love that guy. He's came back from nothing. Now he gets your arm badge in a Champions League final. Champions League quarterfinal. So I'm very happy for that. Team gave it their all. Let's move on to the next one. Potter, keep being consistent. I need to see consistency from this team. Fernandez, Kovacic play well. The subs were a bit off, but they worked out at the end. But let's move to the next game. I'm happy with this result.
Yeah, I absolutely bet you are. Winter Surfer, same from yourself. I mean, was this the best performance you've seen, under Potter, maybe even this season?
It's up there. It's definitely up there. Like I said, it was a good performance. It needed to happen, especially after the Leeds. But yeah, I can't really fault anyone. I don't want to, and there is no reason to fault anyone tonight. How I feel about Havertz. He was brilliant tonight, Havertz. He was absolutely brilliant tonight. Led the line well, laid off, very good. Sterling scored, much needed for him. Like I say, Reece James and Chilwell was solid. The back three was solid as well. And Kepa pulled off a very good save. So, yeah, we're through. Our season extends by another 2 games. So that's all I'm looking forward to. And do you know what? I understand people wanting Potter out. I just can't get behind wanting my team to lose tonight. That's all. I just can never do that. That's all.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm still Potter out, but he was very good tonight. Very good tonight. He got even the subs at the time they were. I understood them. They made more sense than they did at the weekend, and they worked. So because we played well when they even came on them a bit more. But fantastic defending at the end. And we roll into the next round.
I get what you're saying about not wanting your team to, I've had United fans all day talking about how we should not play any of the players that gave up on Sunday for the rest of the season. And it's like, but then we definitely ain't winning nothing else. And we're probably not qualifying for the Champions League. There's wanting your team to improve. Yeah, I understand the logic of if Chelsea lose tonight,
Yeah.
and Potter gets sacked, I think a better manager comes in. At the same time, you could, and the reason I say you could is the last 2 times Chelsea won a Champions League, the scenario is similar in terms of managers, and no one fancied you to do it. I'm not saying you will. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but stranger things have happened in this world twice before to Chelsea. So I wouldn't say 100% it's not going to happen. That would be crazy, but definitely a good performance. I wanted to ask you, Ches, what was the difference tonight? Why was there more zip, more fight, more speed? What do you think the difference was?
I hate to say it before I get to the positive, but I think it's just the players were up for it. I think the thing with this game is, like, we still missed chances and we still didn't put the ball back in it as we should have. We should have been clear of this game. This game should have been at least 3-4-0. No gas. But the same usual suspects can't finish. But what the difference was today was the whole team's working as a unit and everyone had the same direction. We all wanted the same goal. And other games, in Premier League games, when I was at West Ham or whatever, it seems like some players kind of lax off a bit. They kind of relax it. Whereas today, I was really happy to see that everyone was fighting for the badge. Everyone was working as a unit. Got Kai Havertz, got the chemistry was there. So this is why I say to people, pour out, I understand it. But like the past few games especially, the finishings will let us down. Like the lack of concentration, that's what's let us down. It hasn't been Potter's tactics or whatever. It's been more of that rather than Potter. So today I'm really happy for the team to show what they can do. I'm really happy as well, like Chelsea fans, because we need a win, man. Like we haven't won like this in ages, Terry, man. We haven't won back-to-back in a minute. So I'm gassed for our team to be this in the quarters. And what I would say to fans in general who are skeptical about pour out, I would just say, like, let it ride out a bit, even to the end of the season, because making top 4, a manager coming in right now is pointless. Season's already done. So let him see what he can do in the Champions League. And you know what? Prove us wrong, innit? Like, you got a chance now, so prove us wrong. So, yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense. And Kaz, I know you're someone that's obviously been very damning of the manager, a lot of the players in your team, including the likes of Kepa. But what did you make of the performance tonight, and how are you feeling about it all?
First of all, Terry, thanks for having me. I appreciate that. Yeah, I heard you after the Arsenal game. You said the GOAT, Terry. And you know what, Terry? I love you, bro. But I am the real GOAT, bro. Okay? I am the real GOAT. Like,
You're the real GOAT. Okay.
Okay. When it comes to it, Chelsea today is all about the win, bro. And I predicted, I came live and I said Chelsea will win 3-0. And I said, as long as we have Sterling and Felix in the team, we're going to win. And it's just a message to all Chelsea fans. Thaigo Silva's finished. Now it's done. Fofana and Koulibaly and all Chelsea fans, they're all here. And they all watch us live. They doubted Koulibaly. And I said, Koulibaly is a real player. Potter need to give him time. That's why Thaigo Silva needs to go. Because Fofana, he's going to be the future. That's point number 1. Look, today, I was confident. I thought Chelsea would win 3-0. They should have won about 3 or 4.
I need to stop you. I can't let it go. You want Thiago Silva, who has been your best player for 2 years, gone.
Yeah, bro, Thiago Silva is our best player, but the team's 10th in the table. Listen, in order for us to win the league and beat City, because, listen, Arsenal, like it or not, they are in false position because everybody else is so inconsistent this year, right? When it comes to the Premier League, including Manchester City. Manchester City, I still believe they're going to come and catch Arsenal. They're going to win the league. But when you look at United, when you look at Tottenham, we look at Chelsea, or even Liverpool, they're so consistent, bro, right? So my point I'm trying to make is Thiago Silva is a good player in crap team 10th in the table. He's 40 years old. You can't rely on him winning the league, the most demanding, hard, fast, physical team in the planet Earth. So yeah,
You just won the Champions League game.
To win things, you have to get us.
What does that have to do with what's that to do with today's game?
Yeah,
I mean,
what you right. The goalkeeper.
I wanted to understand this. See, but that logic don't make sense.
It does,
So
yeah, it doesn't.
your team is in 10th because the team has been poor, but he is a standout performer in that team. That means you need to replace other people and raise it. If you raise them all to Thiago Silva's standard, you'd be challenging for the league title.
True.
Why would you take out, and Man United fans do this to Bruno, why would you take out the one person who has been your most consistent player for a couple of years just
No,
because you don't like them. That is weird, Kaz. That's weird, brother.
Listen, bro. It's weird to you and to not them, but I tell you right now, I
Weird
cannot.
to everyone.
Listen, I need to win the league, bro. We're so inconsistent, bro.
Yeah,
We
so
win the league
again,
ourselves.
I get that, Kaz, but think about your logic deeper. You want to win the league, so your logic is
Bro,
let's
just
sell our best players.
let me finish. Let me finish. You probably get a bad picture, bro. Thaigo Silva is not the player for me to go win the league. Not for me. We need a world class. We need world class centre back like Liverpool gone 4 years ago. I got what's his name? Van Dijk. And
Silva not world class.
before that, they gone out there get Alisson. They will go out there get Salah. You need to have the spine right, bro. We don't have the spine. Where DM is dead. We don't have a goal scorer. We don't have a proper world centre back. Now Fofana looks good, and we don't have a goalkeeper. Our goalkeeper won't come in the League One, bro. It's too bored. So it's all tonight about the win. I think Chelsea tonight. Graham Potter is out for me. I mean, people getting gassed already. You say Graham Potter. Listen, bro. Graham Potter is good till June, and after that, you need a world class. Manager. And thank you very much. I think Graham Potter is not good enough, in my opinion. I said that. But it's all about the win. But again, can I just address one thing before I just give chance to somebody else? I disagree with you, Terry. No, I disagree with you. I don't think Chelsea will go all the way, bro. We don't have a goal scorer. In the previous year, we had a goal scorers. We had at least Giroud there. This year, we don't have a goal scorer. That's why we're going to get knocked out in the quarterfinal, bro.
Can you say one thing positive? One thing positive, please. Can you say one thing positive about this game?
No, I said
One thing positive.
bro. Hey, listen. Relax, just relax, bro. I'm saying the truth. I'm talking factual, bro. We're gonna get
but we
knocked
need
out.
some positive. You know, speak about the truth about today. The truth about today's game was players did well.
Just won a Champions League game.
Yeah, but the boys gave everything today, innit?
Listen, guys, listen. Relax, guys, relax. Today it was about about the win, and we got the win. But the reality is, I'm realist. You know, it's a Chelsea fan is very emotional, bro. I'm not. I'm a realist. We're not gonna do all that quarterfinal, semi-final. We're not good enough, bro. That's
But we're talking about this game, Kasim. Talk about this game. Talk about this game. We're talking about here, and then you come and slag Thiago Silva. What's Thiago Silva got to do with this game?
No. All the Chelsea.
And they come back and Kepa just made a world class save today.
My guy,
League wouldn't make League One. Made a world class save today.
All the Chelsea fan came to me right in different platform about Thiago Silva. I highlighted Thiago Silva. I highlighted Reece James when I told you he's injury prone, right? And you all laughed at me. He's an injury prone. He can't keep fit. How can he go to win the Champions League or the league with player? He can play 20 games.
But that's depth. That's why you have depth. Rotation. Can
I just say one thing?
Everything
Everything you say about Thiago Silva is complete bullshit. All right.
Right. Is that like you saying Buttershield is being brought by Graham Potter? You're talking crap, bro.
Let him speak, please.
I don't know what this is about Thiago Silva. Maybe you're picking him to try and stand out from the crowd or something like that. But Thiago Silva's been one of the best defenders in the Premier League since he got here. Okay, he's been one of the best Chelsea players for the past since he's been here. He should have won Player of the Year last year, not Mount. And this season, he has been truly outstanding. I don't even know why we're talking about him since he's injured right now. Okay, we shouldn't be talking about anything really negative tonight whatsoever. There should be praising the manager, who, even if you want out, did well tonight, and praising the players that got through. Talking about Thiago Silva
it's all about the win tonight, Andrew, bro, listen.
Why are you mentioning Thiago Silva if it's all about the game tonight?
It's all about the win today, right?
Why are you bringing up the player that didn't
Can I say one more thing?
Hang on. This is not about relaxing. Why are you bringing up a player who didn't even play tonight when Chelsea won? It makes no sense. Apart from, and I hate using this word, you have nothing but an agenda against Thiago Silva, and I don't know why. It's not logical. You are not thinking logically whatsoever.
I know what it is, guys. I know what it is. Kasim, you asked out a Brazilian lady, and she said no, innit? That's what it was. 100%. Man got fired by a Brazilian hottie, and he never got over it. He never got over it. Her surname was Silva as well, I bet. That's what I'm only joking. Before we go to Abs, I want to go to some of these super chats that have come through and ask you, some of them might be points for you guys. This says, Matty, I love your shameless love for Kepa, is what C says here. He does love Kepa. He had, the thing is, look, Kepa's done well since he's come back into the team. He's been much better than the previous version we saw. This also big up the terrace. Appreciate your work. Thank you very much, my friends. A little bit of weird, when I decorated this room to change the set over. Do you want to know a weird quirk of fate? It took me exactly 7 hours. I couldn't believe it. Breaking news: Chelsea won 2 games in a row and kept clean sheets, is what Blaze says here. I've also read a stat. I need this verified that Graham Potter has now beaten
I saw that.
Conte's record in Europe. Gotta give him a new deal. Chelsea played like a Champions League Tuchel team tonight. Would you say that's true, Abs? Did it kind of remind you of those games in the Champions League first time around with Tuchel?
Kind of. The only difference was that with Tuchel's games, there was more like there was an emphasis of even when we knew the tie was dead, we still went to go kill them off almost. It wasn't like we sat back because from minute 60 onwards, we kind of just sat back and let Dortmund. We invited a bit of pressure, but we dealt with it well. Went through the bits of adversity. But however, the one main point I want to talk about is you see Jude Bellingham not coming at him as a player, but my guy showed levels today, innit? My guy, Enzo Fernandez came. Enzo and Cover, to be fair, both dunked on Jude Bellingham, which is why I've told people when they're telling me Enzo or Cover, I would take Enzo all day. Jude, sorry. Because today, Enzo was showed him levels and Jude, a disaster class for the ages. But I'll be real though, there were loads of other good performances. Kukurea was very, very, very good today. And he's needed that because he's been struggling the last few weeks. Chilwell was good. Havertz, who I'm not a massive fan of, was very good. Fofana, fantastic towards the end. We defended very, very well. Kepa made some great saves as well, especially from, I think it was Reis's free kick. So yeah, it was an all-round good performance. And listen, I'm a advocate. I'm a registered, well-known member of the Power Out Brigade. I don't want this guy at my football club. I don't think he's good enough. But at the same time, for today, I have to give him his flowers. And I didn't think we was gonna go through. I'll be honest, because even from that first half, I was thinking, nah. It's just he's got it wrong.
I don't know about any of you lot. Did you sort of feel? I mean, I said it and you literally scored. It was like a quirk of fate, but it had a feel those games you dominated and lost 1-0 because
do you know when
it's crazy.
I thought it wasn't going to happen when Havertz missed that penalty because he'd already hit the post in the first half. And when he missed that penalty, I thought, nah, this is not. This is not happening. And somehow we got that encroachment, even though our player was in the box ahead of the Dortmund player. So someone explain that to me. How is encroachment if both players are in
what? There's also someone who hasn't.
I think someone explained it on a tweet somewhere that it's encroachment if it's missed. If you'd have scored, it would have been retaken again because you were in the box, but because you missed it and they cleared it. So if it would have hit the post and gone out for a goal kick, it wouldn't have been encroachment. So there's rules within the rules. I didn't realize. I thought if you just were in the box, it was done.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
Yeah, it was one of them ones that you caught a little bit of life there. That it fell to a guy that encroached. If it fell to a guy that didn't encroach, it wouldn't have happened. So there's a little bit of luck there, but I don't know. You guys, when you guys put the pressure on them tonight, they couldn't handle it, and you went 2-0 up, and then you played on the counter. And in fairness, you really should have scored a couple more goals. Even at the end, Pulisic, why didn't you play Gallagher through? Could have killed the game off, taken that pressure away. But overall, pretty good there. This here says Potter knows he had to perform tonight, or it's game over. I want him to do well, but it's his positivity I don't like when there ain't any, and stupid mindset. He don't give you that incentive though. But well done is what Nav's got to say. A lot of the credit must go to Potter for the intensity. He set the boys up to press high and attack in numbers. The question I was going to ask you all, if he's criticized when it goes wrong, surely then he does have to be praised when it goes right. Because would that be fair?
Yeah, that's exactly fair. You can't. Otherwise, you can't be taken seriously as a fan if you go, oh yeah, it's Potter's fault when we lose, but it's the players' fault. Players praise when we win. No, he got it spot on tonight. He stuck with a 3-4-3 at the start. I think it changed for 3-5-2 when he brought Zakaria on, and he got it right. I think he got the subs right, and he kept the players on. So Yeah, he deserves praise tonight. It's only right. We go on about how he's not doing his job in previous games, but yeah, he got it right. It's only fair.
Yeah.
Terry, I'm one of the only people probably on this panel who's not necessarily Potter out, because I feel as though like he gets a hard rubber to green because of the finishing. Like the defense hasn't been a problem since he joined. So today the difference was we took our chances better than before, not well, and that's what got him over the line. Like imagine Havertz misses, then we lose on pens. Everyone's gonna be saying Potter out, and they'll blame him even though we had all
But
the
why
chances.
why aren't we finishing correctly checked? What's the reason? Because he
No,
doesn't bring a finisher.
Yeah,
I blame it on him, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say it's not his fault, but the reason why I'm not gonna like sit here and talk rubbish is because under Tuchel, I was complaining for a minute about the finishing. This is like last year, this time, and we were on the streams, me and you, and we were talking about how we drew against Southampton, all these teams. We couldn't finish, and Tuchel's a better manager than Potter, so I'm not gonna now sit and go, "Oh, the finishing's all on him," when we haven't got a striker.
The only thing that's going to come back and bite him is when he's looking for a goal, Aubameyang's not there to bring on. And that's the only thing.
That's the point.
Later in the
That's
tournament.
The reason.
Yeah, he left out
later in the tournament.
Yeah, but Aubameyang's not going to be here.
In January,
But still, he's a finisher. And even Dacha Fofana. Dacha
Yeah,
Fofana's a
in
finisher.
Do you know who else has been? You know what? I need to ask a question though. What's going on with Mudryk though? Because this Mudryk guy, I swear to God, now. Do you? Because why didn't he bring him on? Why he just left him out the last few games? I don't get it.
I don't know. I think it's maybe more just helping him settle in more. That's all it is. Do you know what I mean? You can't.
What game was
Listen,
it when he had a really bad first half? Was it Southampton?
It's,
No.
When he played really poor.
That was
the
it.
Fulham game. That game,
Fulham,
we all
yeah.
watched it. He wasn't fit. He wasn't tracking back. Like he just wasn't doing much. I can't
Well,
lie. He
bringing on
doesn't
games
deserve
like
to
this
play.
will help him though. Like instead of maybe a Gallagher or something or Pulisic,
We need
to bring him on to
experience
help
in
him
these
get their
games,
game
bro.
time.
Sterling's
What?
goal was pure experience and like know-how.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Even
saying to
Havertz-
sub him off for. I want
Yeah.
Sterling to start. I think Sterling definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm saying to bring him on as a substitute, to bring him on, to get rotation, to get him match fit for the upcoming games. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be an intriguing one.
Can I just say something about the strike thing? The strikers thing. In
Yes,
January, when the transfer window opens, they decided to sign, players. He knows strikers priority because we don't score goals. And the second point is, I had Aubameyang. He decided not to put him in the Champions League. That's also the manager, bro. That's on the manager.
Yeah, you say that, but then again, this is where I would say to Chelsea fans, you've got to be fair to Graham Potter, because the reports from the media that most of you believe when it's transfer story stated that it was the board who pushed for that to be the case. So I'm not saying that's, you can argue, well, Potter's a yes man, so I want him out for that reason.
Yeah, it's a yes man.
Yeah, well, but yeah, I get that. But if he's a yes man, then your focus has to be your board because they're the ones making the decisions. So don't focus on the manager. Like if you've got a yes man, that's not the person in life, in the world. If someone's a puppet, they shouldn't ever be your target. The target should be the puppet master, right? So that's my challenge to people.
Wait, are you saying that Bowie's picking the lineup, Terry? Are you saying Bowie's picking about Aubameyang or not? All I'm saying is, why isn't he bringing Aubameyang? Aubameyang's our only finisher.
No, I hear that, but he's not in the Champions League squad, though, is he?
Exactly, because Potter didn't bring him in the Champions League squad. And that's the reason why he's not there.
I read from some of the credible Tier 1 Chelsea guys is that it was in conjunction with the board's recommendations. So that for me is weird. Like the board should have nothing to do with who's in what squads. But then at the same time, there was a lot of talk that he was going to go out on loan to America. So maybe which either way, he wouldn't have been here anyway if that happened. So it's an interesting one. Listen, Abs and Kaz, I'm going to bring a couple more people through now. Thank you, boys, for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it, gentlemen. I'll chat to you guys soon. Don's here with us now. Thank you, Kaz. Sorry.
Thaigo Silva in.
And Steve's here with us.
Howdy.
I couldn't believe he said there was a few super chats for him actually. First one says, "Can you please stop giving airtime to melts on your channel? Get rid of Thaigo Silva Bellend. Potter needed to buy some favor from the fans. He did. I agree, African Giant, with what you say there." It says, "I think I've lost brain cells listening to this guy. I think he's forgetting we had the joint second best defense in the league with Silva."
Listen, Terry, we had a conversation about Thaigo Silva. He said, get rid of him, bring Skriniar in, and someone else said, bring Ben White in instead of him. So this is chasm for you. Like, he's going to say wild things like this.
Skriniar is going to Paris Saint-Germain in the summer anyways.
I don't get it. I
think he's doing it for clicks, innit? I just think he's looking for attention.
Well,
it doesn't make sense.
There's a lot of that about at the minute. I saw someone today, I'm reacting to it tomorrow, literally said that winning beating your rivals by big scores, like obviously popping at Man United, is a bigger achievement than winning a trophy, like winning a Carabao Cup.
Lord.
You did say the Carabao Cup because I don't rate the Carabao Cup at all. So I think so. I'm sitting there thinking, bro, like during Arsenal's bad days, bare clubs won trophies. You know, we've all. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, what I mean is, but that all that stuff is said for clicks. Like I like Kaz, he's a nice guy, but to say to get rid of Thiago Silva, I just think to myself again, it's just warped logic. Man United.
No, Terry, I'll defend Cass
players,
here.
weird, man.
It's not for clicks. I've me and Cass had a whole debate on this. It's not for clicks. He just says, I think because Thiago Silva's old and he wants rotation, but it's just truly unbelievable why he thinks that. But I don't think it's for clicks. I know
That'd be like me saying I want João Mario out of Benfica because he's 30. Bro, he scored 20 goals for us.
But this is the point.
That's the least of, you know.
But it's become a fashionable thing to do. There's a lot of Man United fans who get angry if we get linked to people that are over 28. They all did it. Like, go back and look at a lot of the people that are loving off on Casemiro and look what they said when we were linked to him. You get this kind of overreaction, and then what will happen is there'll be a game where one of those players is missing, and we do really well without them, or there'll be a game where they're bad once in a blue moon, and it's like, see, that's why I was right. And I'm sure that's what Kasim does. If Thiago makes a mistake and a goal goes in, it'll be see, told you. Or if he gets burnt by someone with Mbappe's speed, it'll be see. If he was 25, he wouldn't have got beat. He would.
Sandro Martinez, height. If he gets dunked on, people like Carragher will be like, see, I told ya.
I mean, and he got dunked on at the weekend, but not because of his height.
Right.
It's just crazy. This here says, mate, we won the Champions League with him at 37. What are you talking about? Is what Nav says. If it wasn't for Silva, that dressing room wouldn't have won the Champions League. Very true. Big up Terry. Before Potter out, I'm Kaz out. I didn't even see all these before I let him leave. Scary hours. N'Golo, aka Weapon, returns soon. Don, what did you make of tonight? Because clearly the best performance so far under Graham Potter, especially with the significance of needing to stay in the tournament. Can you see Chelsea growing from this point?
100%. I think there's two players I want to speak about today, mainly Cucurella and Havertz, because I've been one to get onto Havertz all season because for me, he's not a striker. He hasn't been performing. His performance today has been completely different in comparison to what we've been seeing from him all season. And I said to Andrew the other day in the stream that we did on GNA TV that I'm not even looking at him anymore. I'm looking at the manager, because why do you keep picking someone who is clearly not a striker, right? But today, he stepped up, man. One thing I'm going to say about him is his decision-making was perfect. I can't knock anything that he did today, from bringing the ball down, his first touch, his vision was good today as well. He was sort of, he had that confidence to sort of drive past players as well. So I think it was a really good performance from him. One of the best performances I've seen from Havertz the whole time that he's been here. So if he's going to play up top, this is what I want to see from Havertz going forward. And then with Cucurella, this is the Cucurella that we signed, man. Like, just the passing from the back, he definitely helped with how we were building out from the back, because we were controlling a lot of that game. And a lot of that started from that penetrative pass that he kept putting through the lines, straight through to the midfield, and getting Felix on his bike straight away. You could see how the ball was going straight from the defense all the way to the attack in 5 seconds. And that came from the pass from the beginning there from Cucurella. So I think today, defensively, he was good. He's been getting cooked a lot. A lot of the games that we've seen from him at Chelsea. I'll put that down to confidence. And there was rumors that came out at the beginning that physicality-wise, he had tonsillitis. I don't know if I believe it or not, but he hasn't been good since he's been here. It hasn't been the Cucurella that we saw at Brighton that got player of the season. So today, this reminded me of the Cucurella that I saw at Brighton last season, with just how he wraps his foot around the ball. That's one thing I always looked at with Cucurella, is how he passes the ball. Hence why Pep wanted him, because he's a good player when it comes to just wrapping it in and on the technical side of things. So Cucurella and Havertz definitely stepped up today, man. I think before the game, I said it in the group chat, Andrew, like, I need to see an 8 out of 10 out of Cucurella, because I was quite skeptical when I saw him in the lineup. I said I would rather go with Chalobah, maybe put Fofana down the middle and Koulibaly on the left side. But again, Koulibaly did well there, man, where he was playing. He was going into the tackles. He wasn't as rash today. He felt more confident. I don't know what it is with Koulibaly in Champions League. It's like he's a different player in the Champions League. But yeah, I like how we're playing 5 at the back now. I feel like we control games more. Enzo and Kova, they were okay. I think Kova grew into the game a little bit more. In the first half, he wasn't getting on the ball as much as I would have liked him to. But yeah, he grew into the game with a lot more confidence. Jude, this is another reason why I don't want us to sign him. I highly rate Jude, but we definitely need a DM. He's not going to fit with what we're trying to do at the moment. I think he's been poor.
He should have scored.
But he should have scored. Yeah, he should have scored.
Yeah,
so,
he should have scored. That was
for me. Yeah, I think it was a top performance, man. We needed every single person to have at least 8 out of 10 today, and everyone stepped up, including the fullbacks. We know how good Chelsea's wingbacks are, and they both stepped up, like you said earlier in the stream, Terry. So I'm happy with today's performance. I'm not going to be, screaming keep Potter because of 2 performances. That hasn't changed for me. I need to see win after win now. We've got Leicester coming up. We've got easy wins coming up. I know we've still got United to play. We've still got Arsenal to play. We've still got Liverpool to play. But we've got a nice set of fixtures coming up in the league. So I still need to see more for me to actually change my opinion completely, because Southampton was the last straw for me. So with Potter, I think all it is just bought himself more time. But look, hats off, man, because if we lost today, we would have been calling for his head. So I think he put a good lineup out today, man.
You're absolutely right, Don. I think you look at your next 2 games, away to Leicester. I know they battered Spurs, but that's usual. And then you've got Everton. Win those. Listen, I don't think you'll make the top 4 now. You needed to win those first couple of games after the window shut. I thought, and then you, like Liverpool, then you'd be in with a shout. You're a little bit far behind that, but it's just about. I sort of look at it now for you guys. It's about building confidence going into next season, but equally, you've got the Champions League now. You don't know who you're going to get in the next round. Use the Premier League to get yourselves ready for each of those games. That's almost what those matches should be like. I don't know what the right word would be, but like live training. Does that make sense? Like, real intense sessions, test things out, create some relationships. Tonight was good. I think what I felt was really annoying me about Potter is every game it felt like 5, 6, 7 rotations, and it was how are you going to create relationships? How are you going to get people working together, understanding their game? I was watching the Benfica game tonight, and you just look at the relationships and the connection and the what's the phrase they use in FIFA Ultimate Teams?
Chemistry.
And it is a great word for it. The chemistry. They sort of know where they're all going to be instinctually, and Chelsea just don't have that. But you have quality players, and if
there was only 2 changes tonight. And one of them was enforced because Badiashile is not eligible. So you bring Cucurella in because we've only got we left Chalobah on the bench just in case, and then Reece came in for Ruben. That was it.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's lo and behold, you get your best performance out of him. It's almost to keep that team as best you can. Some rotation to keep people fresh. Create some relationships because you just need to start cooking in that way. And it's funny, your midfield and defense plays better, and suddenly Raheem Sterling comes alive up front. Like it's a team sport for a reason, And I think a lot of that is on the manager. A lot of it's on the manager, absolutely. But there's something there still for Chelsea. Then your squad is not as bad as your results have suggested.
Terry,
There's just no way.
Terry, this is why I'm happy that we won at the weekend, because for me, I would never ask for Chelsea to lose a game, regardless of me wanting Potter out, right? Because we had a very important game today. We had to beat Dortmund, right? Because we've still got something to play for. And like you've said, when we've won the Champions League, we've never been favourites. We've been in situations like this when we've gone on and done it. I'm not saying we're going to go on and do it, but we do have Champions League. We've got European heritage. So for me, I saw a lot of togetherness today. And I think that came from the result at the weekend. Even though the performance wasn't great at the weekend, today you can see that, right, okay, they've stepped up today. They've got that confidence. They've built from that result we got from the other day. So for me, it was key that we got that result at the weekend. I think that definitely helped us play the way we did today.
I couldn't agree with you more. There's a super chat here from Adam that says, YouTube is all about clout. Don't hate on others' winter surfer. We're all different, but respectful to others' opinion. Don't call them out for clout. Bring Kaz back.
Let me just say this. Listen, this is not about him really wanting Thiago Silva out. It's him just bringing it up, but there's no need to bring it up in this point, right? He didn't play. He's injured. We're talking about a Chelsea win. We're talking about positivity, which we've not had a lot about at Chelsea this season. And for him to bring up just a nonsensical opinion, and it's not facts. He kept saying facts. It's his own opinion. He's not entitled to his own facts. He's entitled to his own opinion, which is fine. But I just thought it's just bad timing. It's like, Terry,
wrong place, wrong time.
Last week, Terry, you won the League Cup, and then I think probably someone did. Oh yeah, but Bruno didn't play well. Just won a League Cup.
I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know where that narrative come from. I thought he was really good on the day. It's just one of those. It's one of those weird things. Like when I watch games, I generally don't tweet too much, so I'm quite isolated from what people are saying. And sometimes I go on Twitter and I'm like, what game are they watching? I don't know if they are watching, but equally, the facts thing's really interesting. People say to me, well, you've got a show called Straight Facts. Yeah, it's literally a dig at people that say their opinions.
It's sarcasm.
It's literally a sarcastic talk. The same as the Done Deal show. It's literally sarcasm that people take it seriously. It's unbelievable that their brains are so tiny. I feel so honestly, it's weird, right? I wouldn't trust these people to make toast, but yet they can breed. It's crazy. Like, I'm not saying Kaz, by the way. Kaz is entitled to his opinions. But the whole thing about YouTube is about clout. I'm going to disagree because I'm going to say this about myself and many others. I do have some opinions that some people find outlandish, but my logic is consistent. And I don't rave about someone having high stats one day, the next day say stats don't mean anything. Yeah, I'm consistent in my approach to all clubs. Not everybody on YouTube is just saying things for clout. The ones that are, and I'm not saying Kaz is doing it for clout. I made a suggestion. The ones that are doing it for clout are the people that every day will change their logic to create outrage. Like I say today, there are literally fans of football clubs today saying big embarrassing losses are bigger than certain trophies. And for me, it's like that's just being said purely to generate a reaction. And I'm not going to lie, it's got a reaction out of me. It's got a reaction out of me. Winter Surfer, YouTube snitch, not going to lie.
What?
Hang on, what did he snitch on? The man said it live on the air in 3,000 people.
He said he wanted Brendan Rodgers last time. He said he wanted Brendan Rodgers. So
yeah, it's crazy. This is his respect to Potter today. He's got the tactics right. He absolutely did.
Sorry, that's the thing. No one wants to bring up Potter today. No one's doing it, so I have to do it. He actually had a good game today, and no one wants to talk about it because obviously
no, but we said it. We did say Potter. We be consistent with Potter wins and Potter loses.
Southampton, everyone's quick to come at him, and then today we actually won a Champions League game. They've won their last 10. We haven't won before the other day in like 16, whether it was 14, and he's just won a Champions League game. I'm gassed. He needs to prove
no,
it,
I did. Terry brought it up. Terry brought up in the stream. It's like if he gets the heat when we lose, he should get the praise when we win. And I said, yeah, he should. He should get it. It's not all about.
He's getting his praise today, game by game.
But you know this weird thing when everyone likes a manager, when we lose, it's the players' fault. But when we win, it's the managers.
The balance has got to be right.
You got to praise it.
But the thing is, though, the finishing's always been the issue. That even the past few games we've lost and drew, if we'd scored those chances, look at Fulham, like if we'd scored that Havertz chance, we'd probably win that game. That's a win.
But if it's the biggest word, the biggest word at Chelsea when you talk about their attack, it's always if.
I think when it comes to managers, though, what you're looking at often is performance. Because this is why, and I know rivals are struggling with it. It's why, as angry as I was with the team on Sunday, I put that more on the players than the manager. Because since he's come in, our performances have got better and better and better and more consistent. So there's something tangible to build upon. When we were losing games like that with Ollie, where every game you didn't know what you were going to get, I was more frustrated because I couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel. So if you get more performances like today, people, even if the results don't go your way, if all the games were like this and you weren't winning them, people would still be behind Potter. It's because there was nothing happening in games, I think, that people turned on him. That's, my view. I wanted to ask Steve, obviously, before the end of the stream, obviously, Benfica tonight smashed it 5-1. On fire. My dream team, by the way, on Top Kick, I literally filled it full of. I literally only picked 3 players in my whole fantasy team tonight. You can put more than one player.
Let me guess. You did João Mario.
I had Ramos, Mario, and Rafa. All 3. They were my 3 players I used in my 10 positions. So KJ, I don't know where you're placed right now, bruv, but I'm currently placed in the top 20 in the world. That's how good those Benfica boys did for me tonight. I'm definitely killing KJ. But yeah, how good were Benfica tonight?
Oh, man. I mean, it started off in the first minute, disallowed goal, but we were absolutely on Club Brugge's. We were knocking on their front door whole first half. It took 38 minutes till Rafa Silva scored. You know, it was a brilliant touch outside of the boot. It didn't look, like powerful or anything, but it was enough to beat. It was enough to beat the keeper. Sensational. And then from there on out, it was just. It was awesome from Benfica. Gonzalo Ramos got the second goal. Great first touch. Absolutely tremendous first touch in the box. Had some space in between him and the center back. Wonderful drilled shot to the left.
Question for you on it. Sorry to interject.
You're
Do
good.
you look at a Benfica a dark horse in this, in your opinion?
Absolutely. We're a dark horse because, like you said, Terry, the synergy and the chemistry we have in the starting 11 is it's very, very consistent, and we're doing this despite the loss of Enzo Fernandez as well. So I'm really impressed.
I think you'll get that bearing out the next draw, because obviously you get the pathway now to the final.
Yeah.
The quarterfinals where you get to see who they potentially play in the semi-final and then the final and so forth like that. But yeah, I think they're dark horses. Napoli's my dark horse.
I think Napoli are more than dark horses, though. We all know how brilliant Napoli are.
Yeah, no,
I agree. Could sneak up on a team and beat them.
I think when you're generally speaking, the general rule doesn't always work out. When you're the best team in one of the top 4 leagues, I think you're and Napoli are they're not like 4th place team that are punching above their weight. They're really good. I've actually watched 3 or 4 of their games this year because Jess watches ridiculous amounts of football, and I often go in the living room and it's on. So I've watched them a few times and never looked dangerous. But I watched Benfica. I watched all their group games because we were in the studio for that earlier on in the season, and every game they just look quick and sharp and powerful. And I didn't know much about all of their players when I first started watching them, but they worry me. Of course, the draw's got to be kind to them. I think if they end up getting. In the next round, if they got Bayern Munich and their semi-finals Real Madrid, they're probably not going to make the final, probably. But listen, there's lots of teams that exciting us. I'd love somebody obscure to win it this year, like a Napoli, like a Benfica, someone who's not kind of predicted to do it. Obviously,
Porto.
I
don't want Porto. Fuck Porto. But
no, I know you're not going to like them as a Benfica fan, but it's certainly going to be interesting. Listen, boys, I appreciate you all coming on. We have a super chat here actually from Nav. Thank you for the donation, my friend. He says, I think the hype around Jude is a bit over the top. Looks good in Germany in a weaker lead. Kai did that. Timo did. The Prem will be different story. Good player. I think people forget that Jack 100 million. No, 100 quid overhyped simply.
Oh, Jack Grealish.
Oh, Jack. All right, Jack Grealish. Yeah, look, me and Lee Gunner had this debate earlier. Lee kind of got it a bit wrong because I said about young players getting abuse online, I think is wrong. And Lee didn't hear abuse. His ears heard criticism. And I'm like, because some people don't differentiate, and I personally do. I think they're very different things. But with Jude Bellingham, I don't think the hype is too much. I think some people, they hype young players, but then there is almost, well, if you're going to hype him, that means he can't be inconsistent or have off games. And it's sort of like, even like the Haalands and the Mbappes, who are modern day examples of young players that from day one have been brilliant. They're not great in every game still. I don't understand this notion that a player's overhyped because you see them have a bad game. I still think that's too much. He's got a lot to learn. He's 19 and he's playing in arguably the hardest position in football from that requires experience, reading of the game. No matter how good you are at 19, how many 19-year-olds have been world-class midfielders? Does anybody remember the last perfect, consistent 19-year-old midfielder? Nope.
Or for that one game against Man United when he scored. That's about it.
No, I don't think look, I get why he can be overhyped when people talk about him like he's perfect, and that's wrong. But equally, tonight he just came up against a Chelsea team who haven't been great in the Prem, but they're a Prem team. And Premier League teams, pound for pound, in my opinion, are better than
Bundesliga sides,
Germany and the systems. But I don't know, man. I think people are a little bit harsh on him tonight, personally.
Also, something else about Jude Bellingham. For me, I see a lot of his best qualities going forward. Defensively, he's all right, but for me, I the special player that we all appreciate, and some people think is overhyped, does a lot of damage inside the box, passing and all that. And Borussia Dortmund for that first half, and large parts of the second half, they weren't getting forward. So obviously, you're not going to see the best Jude Bellingham performance. That was where Ozchan.
I hear you.
Stepped up.
I hear you on that. A few people are saying Cesc Fabregas. You know what? Let's just say yes. Let's say he was. I mean, I don't think he was world class on the. Maybe he was at 19, but that's a player who made his debut 19 years ago, and that's the point I'm making here. You'll probably be able to throw out 2 or 3 examples, but you'll be able to throw out 2 or 3 examples probably over a 30-year period. Thus, meaning the majority of young players are inconsistent in the beginning, meaning that should be acceptable as long as you are seeing good performances in their development. The idea that they're going to come in and be brilliant from day one and not drop bad performances, I just think is a little warped for me.
Terry, it's the equivalent of those people that will put in Darwin Núñez in the same breath as Haaland, like forgetting that he's a raw player. So it's the same thing as that. Really.
110%. People are doing it to Garnacho at United. You guys hype him so much. Well, we're allowed to hype him. Let us hype him. Don't go too far with the hype, but let us. Oh, he ain't brilliant in every game. Yeah, I know. He's 18. It's his first ever season. He's doing well. Like, is he gonna be Lionel Messi? No, I don't think. So far, I haven't seen the talent to say he's going to be that good. But could he become a very important first team player at Man United? Yes. And there's also this weird notion. I made a video about 5 years ago on the terrace, and it's not up anymore because it got taken. We used some stock footage in it, and then it became copyrightable, so they took it down. It was annoying. But the video was entitled "You're either Mbappe or shit," and that's kind of how young players get assessed nowadays. It's if you're not like the best somebody can remember in that position at 18, that people want to write you off. And it's almost like, well, not every young player is going to be a GOAT. So it doesn't mean you can't be excited about them. I don't understand the attack of young players. I find it rather strange.
You got to just evaluate the individual on what you see. And if you like what you see, you don't need to compare him to this legend or that legend or this amazing player. Just appreciate for what it is. And if there's things that he needs to work on, then there's things he needs to work on. It's not rocket science.
I totally agree. Someone here says, like Gavi. Someone said, yeah, and Gavi wasn't brilliant when Man United went to the new camp a few weeks ago.
I've seen loads of people criticize Gavi and Pedri.
Yeah, exactly. I think nostalgia creeps in. I bet if we actually went back and watched, I watched Rooney and Ronaldo at Man United at 18. They were brilliant. But they had lots of games where they weren't good.
Wasn't Ronaldo criticized for being he would take too long on the ball?
Ronaldo up at the end of his first
show pony.
He was, but at the end of his first 2 seasons, Ronaldo used to feature in a yearly article that newspapers would do. That used to list Fergie's hits and flops. 2 seasons running, Ronaldo was listed as a Man United flop because £12.5 million in 2003 was a colossal amount of money to spend on a player.
He was on the same list as Jemba and Clemens.
He was on that list. This is why I say to people, when you get a bit, this is why when older fans do it, it blows my mind because I sort of think you've lived through this 3 or 4 times. And some youngsters, Francis Jeffers as an example, don't go to the next level. You guys had that one academy player you guys had years ago, Gal Kakuta. Every fan base has players that don't achieve the level, but equally there are lots that come through and are really good. It just takes time. I understand people getting annoyed at the overhype, and I do get it. Like for me, I'm not going to come Garnacho shits on Saka. That's stupid. Saka's brilliant, but I can praise how good I think Garnacho is. I just don't do the comparisons to other players because for me, that's when you start creating like weird agendas, and I don't know, maybe I'm just too old for that now. Do you know what I mean?
Don't be the next, be the first. You know
Some guy is saying Patrick Vieira over and over, and I've also seen Iniesta at 19.
I don't remember Patrick Vieira at 18, 19. So I've
seen Wayne Rooney. I've seen Wayne Rooney a few times, to be fair.
Listen, I watched Wayne. I was a season ticket holder when Wayne Rooney signed. I watched the first like 5-6 years of Rooney's United career. I watched the majority. I watched pretty much every home game and a handful of away games. The man was magnificent. I loved him. But he had loads of games where by the end of it, you go, he wasn't awful, but you just go average game today. Or the amount of time centre-backs kept him quiet, because he's up against quality players. Like, by the way, Jude Bellingham losing a midfield battle against Enzo and Kovacic isn't embarrassing.
Yeah,
it's a bit like, if your striker's really good, but Van Dijk in his pomp stops him, that's not embarrassing. Have you went and played one-on-one with LeBron or Michael Jordan in his pomp and they beat you by 3 or 4 points? That's not embarrassing. Like if it's close, do you know what I mean? It's honestly, it's crazy to me. And look, if Jude Bellingham shot goes in, which he should have scored, the narrative's completely different. So it wasn't for me a complete shutdown, but that's just my take. I like him though. Though not saying he isn't talented, he's defo better than Jack Line, defo without question. Look, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying that equally as well. Think about this for a second. Why get angry at a player for other people overhyping him?
I also think that people forget Jack Grealish is turning 27 soon. He shouldn't even be in
Yeah,
this
he ain't young.
conversation.
He ain't young.
He ain't young,
He ain't
guys. You know what I mean? They keep putting him with like
Exactly.
Foden,
They
stuff
need a
like that.
training camp in where?
Pyongyang in North Korea.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Oh,
God.
right, North Korea Fan TV. They're a big up. Imagine if that was actually him. Can you imagine? Like, as much as I think the guy,
Big up to
can
Kim.
you imagine? I don't think they've got the internet there, though, bro. It definitely ain't him. They got no internet.
Well, he does. The people that live there don't.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. Very,
The
very, very, very,
plebs.
very, very, very true. Listen, I want to say thank you to all of you coming on and having your say today. My previous guests as well. Viewers, hit the like button before you leave and go and download the Tops Kick 23 app now. Go and do that ahead of the games. And I want to know who is in your teams and how many points you got. Fatur here, how you doing, bro? Good to meet you the other day, by the way.
I saw him on TV.
I saw him. Yeah, they showed
You know
him.
what's funny? There's an old video I did a reaction to years ago where Sophie was interviewing two guys and some random guy came in and said something horrific about Liverpool fans. I'm not going to repeat it there. And I, for some reason, it come on for my a time thing from 6 years ago on my Facebook the other day, and it was Fatur, and I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know who he was back then, but now I do." I was like, "That's a madness." And he kept his eyes up when talking to Sophie Rose the whole time.
That's the first.
That doesn't sound like
Compliment.
Fatur.
It's a compliment. This is the thing. He is 50-50 in England, but in Germany for clubs, he is world class. Jude, I'm not the only one here. Again, good player. He's definitely also for England. He's invariably brilliant as well, and he was brilliant at the World Cup. So I think he's a very, very good player. But there's lots of development. He's not the finished article yet.
That's why he's at Borussia Dortmund, because that's what they're very, very famous for, developing young players.
I totally agree. Listen, I want to say thank you to everybody again. Hit the like and the share button before you go. Make sure you put on the bell notifications. We're back tomorrow. Straight facts with Big Steve, and then reacting to PSG, Bayern Munich, and of course Tottenham versus AC Milan tomorrow night. So make sure you are tuning in. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all